Are we recording?
Yes.
Jesus.
Oh, I'm not ready.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Hello? Can you hear me? I can't hear anything. Jack?
Are you plugged in, Hannah?
Your thing's on, so you should be able to hear it.
You're standing on it, Hannah. Jesus. Did you not just decide
Yeah, it's okay. I don't need to hear.
What's the... You do need to hear. Put it on,
No.
Hannah.
No, I mean, it is
Hannah.
on. What?
Hannah, look, that's your lead. Follow that to the end. So you're gonna have to get up.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but it's all tangled, Hannah. You're standing on it. You're standing on it, Hannah.
It doesn't matter.
So the folks, this is what we have to go through for about 2 hours. Hannah's been talking to Pat McDonnell, by the way, who is our special guest, about looking after your teeth for the past half hour.
Yeah, because that's...
And literally...
And if anybody wants a system, I can DM the podcast and I send you. So maybe
don't go to your dentist. Don't listen to your dentist.
Yeah, don't. I'm telling you.
Okay, Hannah.
Yeah,
you know.
And this one goes there and there.
How are your
there,
teeth, Dave? Are you?
All right, they're terrible.
Yeah.
and there.
Look at this.
No,
Do we have music for this, Jack?
But what? It is like...
No, get that. Find where that one is, Hannah. Well, look, it's not difficult. Look.
Yeah, but it's in.
Look.
It's in here. Look, it's number one.
What?
It's number one. Come here.
Of course. Here.
Yeah, because
Hannah.
yeah, it's okay. Okay. I know, Pat is shocked.
No, he's not shocked at all. Go on, Jack. Let's go.
You want to start the show?
Yeah, just let's start there.
Finally. Wow.
Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to And That's Why We're Not Together, starring David McSavage, Hannah Andrews, and special guest Mr. Pat McDonnell.
And welcome these young extras and stars of the movie that is their own lives, Jack Andrews and Daniel Andrews. Jack, just back from Portugal, came in this morning looking like an abandoned wild hyena.
Yes, Portugal's a great country.
Went straight up to bed and slept for about 4 hours.
Yes, sir.
God
I
knows.
thought he came back from Spain.
Huh?
Oh, is it a joke? He came back from Spain.
I thought it was Portugal.
It
No,
was Barcelona.
Barcelona is in Spain.
Where did I say?
Portugal. You just said to me earlier, oh, he's just back from Barcelona. And then all of a sudden he said, Portugal. I've noticed changes in Dave and I don't want to. Maybe you need a family discussion.
But anyway, I'm sitting here. We're not going to talk about anything.
It's the same like with Eurovision. You know, there's so many countries. How many countries boycott because of Israel? Or how many artists
have countries boycotted the Eurovision because of Israel?
Apparently, how many? Jack, check it. Or Daniel, how many countries didn't come to Eurovision because of Israeli participation? And when I was leaving work today, there was a big sign. There was like a van, and it had a sign, like electronic sign. But what did it say? RT should not support genocide. Just wait a second. I just taken the photo.
No countries participants have announced a boycott. Yeah.
No, RT boycott Eurovision. Don't let Israel art wash genocide.
No, there was 450 queer artists, musicians, and writers write a letter calling for UK's entry Ollie Alexander to boycott this year's competition. But no one's going to boycott it. It's like the World Cup in Qatar.
But I don't know about what's the word where you a queer artist. Like if you looked at a painting, you wouldn't be able to tell if it was.
But that's what the article's about.
Huh?
That's what the article said, that in the UK in particularly 450 queer artists, musicians and writers signed a letter calling for...
All I'm trying to say is, Pat, actually, there seems to be large areas, well, not large, there seems to be certain things that are kind of like minefields. And if you're not like fully tooled up, like with a doctorate in sociology or something, if you don't know to navigate, it's like a quagmire.
Well, it used to be like... You got keyboard warriors talking about, say, marriage equality. That's simple.
Right.
Simple. There's no argument against marriage equality, is there? Really?
Marriage equality.
Some people like gay marriage.
Oh, right,
He's
yeah.
really losing it. But anyway.
No, I was just thinking, sorry, equality in marriage. Sorry, I remember back in the day, yes, marriage equality. And there was that lady from a place called the Iona Institute, which was it was just like Iona. There's too many vowels in that thing. Just this nebulous sort of floating cloud. That's our institute.
I did the joke. There's a new breakaway group called the Real Iona.
That's a funny joke, guys. Come on, give him a laugh. There you go. But I remember the woman at the time who was saying that people who are homosexual should not be allowed to be married, and there was just this general feeling in the air. There is a decency in people, and yes, people's sexuality is important to an extent, but what do you know about someone really? What do you know about their values, who they are, what they're like because of their sexuality? And we're citizens first. I sound like I'm on a platform now. But we are like citizens, and we look after each other. And if somebody wants to get married, for God's sake, and I think that was the feeling. But this woman, she was representing the Iona Institute, and you could see that she wasn't really believing in what she was saying, because you know the way sometimes her mouth was getting all dry and her lips were sticking to her teeth, and she was a very poor representative of an argument that didn't have the ring of honesty or truth to it. And it's lovely for everyone to get, if they want to get married.
It was a simple enough argument. So you got keyboard warriors on, and
Pat.
But then you get into certain things like this, the Eurovision in Israel and Palestine and everything, and it gets a bit into a quagmire, and it's a bit like the Somme. You think you're going to war and you're going to go your sabre and fight. It'll be over in 5 minutes, and then you're stuck in a trench for 9 months with rats pissing on you, and you're typing your way, and you're getting lost.
That's the best thing I've heard. Yeah, it's like the Somme, all those social issues.
I think there's people with goodwill and good intention. I know we comedically though we say the road to hell is paved with goodwill and good intention. But well, I'm not qualified to talk about certain things, but that doesn't stop people talking about them. And I think that's where the problem lies, a lot of it. But I remember I was talking to, what's his name, Hannah?
Yeah.
Constantine Kissin and those guys from Trigonometry.
Oh yeah, Trigonometry, yeah.
And they were talking about the hot button issues. They seem to be they're really all over the hot button issues of the day, which would be to do with gender or the trans situation. And I was telling him I'm starting a podcast, and he was saying, "Is it about this kind of stuff?" And I said, "No, not really." And he said, "Well," he looked at me and said, "Well, don't to take on those issues, you really do need to be very qualified or highly educated or something."
Yeah, you're not.
No,
well,
I'm not.
Highly educated.
BlackRock didn't prepare
no, but I mean,
as university. No, you just have to read.
No, like a
about
doctorate of like a really professional person to get into the fray.
Hey, listen.
That's what they're doing. They have doctors of gender studies or whatever.
Yes,
but I'm telling you, I would question a lot of doctors.
Okay, that's fine. No, you question a lot of
dentists.
And dentists and coronavirus subject, which the truth coming up.
You weren't there in Vietnam, man.
Yeah, I wasn't there, but like all of a sudden now, completely different.
All I would say, I think there's a bit.
And it was scientific evidence before.
Okay, all I'm saying is. Hannah, can I say something?
Professor Look, like he was during coronavirus, he was on television telling us that, take vaccinations, going to protect you, protect other people. It's so safe. There's no side effects. And now he's got a podcast on his own, scientific podcast.
Who
and
has?
he talked, this Professor
John Campbell.
Tony Houlihan.
Professor Luke, whatever.
Luke O'Neill.
Yeah. And now he's just this authority in science. Like he failed miserably during coronavirus pandemic, whatever it was. He was telling us lies.
Why don't we lighten it up and talk about the
Michael Downey died.
Gangland shoot. Michael Downey.
All I was trying to say was, I was trying to finish a point, and I'm shocked that you can't let the whole coronavirus go. You just
because no one wants to admit
nobody
that they were
gives
fooled.
a shit. People are worried. People can't afford their cornflakes.
Listen,
That's
people are depressed.
Okay.
People suffer consequences
These
for
are
being
big...
locked for 2 years. And no one wants to just say.
But you're the one that makes it horrible by talking about it like that. We just don't want to remember it. We want to move on with our lives. I just want to walk in the Ivy Gardens and stand in dog shit. Can I not just enjoy my life?
Of course you can.
I was just saying, Hannah,
you haven't been booked for that for years, though.
I fell out with the Aikens over a garden. I think.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's small.
I think you covered that one before.
Okay, Hannah. I was saying. One time, the Dublin Marathon, and I saw a guy who had just run the marathon. Okay. Mm-hmm. And he was at the top of Grafton Street, and he looked fucked. Mm-hmm. And he looked at, and I said, "Did you just run the marathon?" And he said, "He was like a man dying on a bed, like, yeah." And I said, "Yeah." And he looked at me and he said it from a very authentic place. "Don't do this." And I listened, because it's an incredible to build yourself up to get to that stage where you can actually run a marathon. I mean, it's a fucking and that's the way Konstantin Kisin said to me, "Don't get into this," because I assume he pays a psychic price for just this constant sort of verbal war that you're getting into, and these people who are trying to come up with creative ways to get you shut down and all that. There's a militant, let's say, group of people on both sides, and I mean, for me and Pat, and for most people, you kind of just want to earn a living. Well, with comedy, I've said it before. I always feel like, are we all just one sentence away from being shut down or cancelled?
But it's easy to get into kind of go down rabbit holes, and also, when you believe one thing, say you get involved in these culture wars and you think for one reason, and then you go all in with them for forever, left or right. Do you know what I mean? So 1 minute you get involved because of this, and then suddenly you don't believe in climate change, or you believe in climate change or something because you want to belong to that group on the left or the right, and you're not necessarily being intellectually honest. Yeah,
and then all of a sudden everything you see just confirms your belief or what you read, and that's what you only see.
I think from a person's point of view, there's certain people in society, and you could call them new humans, or not new humans. Is that that's a Japanese term. Let's say somebody who wants to be referred to as them, shall we say?
They're not new humans.
Okay, let's just sorry. Can I finish my point? Mm-hmm. Thank you. And we can talk about the coronavirus.
No, I don't want to talk about it. I was just saying that someone who failed as scientist is having a podcast, based on science,
Yeah, well, David failed as a huh?
He's a very successful.
What was the thing? I was just trying to finish a point, and I think it was a good point, and I can't remember because what was it just before I was saying
about Constantine? And
no,
marathon runner.
No. We were just saying something before Hannah said
said something stupid.
No.
Okay.
What were we saying? Shit.
This is a podcast dementia coming on.
No, because no, it's like that thing in what's that film? The Coen Brothers film, the brilliant Coen Brothers film. What's it called, with Jeff Bridges? And
the Big
Lebowski, and one of the characters, like at the drop of a hat, all argument just goes back to Vietnam, And that's with Hannah. It just always goes back
I
to
don't think
coronavirus.
so.
That's all she's. If you open up her brain, there's a big coronavirus in there. Anyway.
Okay, yeah. Kick me.
I'm so sorry, Pat.
Yeah, it's okay. Michael Downey, a very talented comedian, died last week.
This turned off. Why is that turned off, Jack? Jesus Christ. Okay, it should be on now, Jack.
No, it's not.
Jack?
There
now it's on.
Now, yeah. So,
Hannah, you know what I mean?
Okay.
No, because I had a really good point.
Well, it was okay.
But can you remember the point? Can you remember the point I had before I said to Hannah about
you were talking about the marathon runner. He's saying the same thing as constant.
Yeah. But then there was another point.
There was
after
something
that.
else as well.
Okay, it doesn't matter. That's it's just lost in the
sound. It's all
sounds.
stuff you've kind of talked about to death. You know, it's quite boring. All that.
Okay,
isn't it though? You know, the whole kind of people going on about what you can talk about, what you can't. Just fucking say it.
Oh yes, sorry, I remember it, Jack.
You know what I mean?
I saw so the people who are referred to as them. Let's use that for an example. So that's so. I think from their point of view, it's not up for debate. You cannot debate their personhood or whatever you would like to call it. So that's what there were some people who are so militant and so indignant. They just you don't even. So I don't know. There seems to be a very Does that make any sense? I can't believe I just said this.
No, what I
yeah, maybe you should have forgotten it.
But I just think I know what you mean. From their perspective, they are them, and it's so strong.
Yes.
And they think that everybody else should be like that.
Oh no, they just feel that they should be recognised. There shouldn't be. There should be no question. Them and they, and that's
everybody
it.
should
And
see it.
Yeah.
But I think I was at work, and one of the actors, he's actually having dementia, and I had a name on myself, Hannah, and all of a sudden everybody knows me, and hey Hannah, how are you? Some other people as well. So maybe they should have their name, pronoun.
Yeah, just for the
engraves in other people, because otherwise. We have all different shoes, and it's
people,
all about getting into somebody else's shoes.
Okay, can I say something?
Yes.
I wore someone else's shoes once, and I got athlete's foot.
But actually, that's not a bad idea because because it is a very small group in society, and it would catch on. So it's like putting stabilizers on ourselves as a society, and if them or they, people would be very happy. I think no problem,
exactly.
no issue. Yeah.
No problem.
So I have
no problem. I just don't know if I don't call you them and I call you he or she. Don't be offended.
Okay.
Just have a glass of wine.
Okay. So. Try and let people know who didn't know who Michael Downey was. How old was he when he?
I don't know.
Oh, he was in his early 50s.
Probably his 50s. Yeah, he'd be about my age, 55ish. Probably.
Yeah.
He was a very promising comedian. Started
Yes.
around 2000, maybe 2000. About 2000. Yeah.
Yeah.
He went to
Irish?
Edinburgh. Irish, yeah, from Carrickmacross. And he was very promising. Started at the same time as Carl Spain, Ruben. They were his friends. Around the same time as Neil Delamere as well. He took part in a competition in RT on the Late Show with Neil Delamere, who won the competition because that was his audience. And then, and also Declan Rooney and Eddie Nessens were part of that competition as well.
Yeah.
And Michael was brilliant. He was a brilliant. I saw him perform at the Laughter Lounge. Absolutely sensational. He was going places. He got into finals of competitions in Edinburgh, and then driving home from a gig, he was in a car crash in 2002.
So did someone crash into him?
Yeah, someone who had been drinking or taking
Oh
drugs.
my God.
Yeah. So that was
it.
it.
So that almost it was a really serious car
Very
accident,
serious.
And he almost died from that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was in a coma for quite a while. And
Right.
then he got over it, got a brain
Well, he
tumour.
didn't get over it.
Not really, no. He didn't fully get over it,
No.
no. So he had an acquired brain injury. I did a gig for him once, I think, for part of
And was
charity
he markedly different? Do you think before?
Yeah, he would have said himself he was markedly different. He would have had sort of what would you say? A bit like you or me. I mean, diminished sort of inhibitions and that, and you'd say things that,
right.
That he wouldn't have said before. He would have been less cautious.
And his missus was very good. She'd always look after. I mean, she was always there with him after that, wasn't she? She'd go.
That's right.
She was very loyal.
Yeah.
I mean, is that the right words to say? Loyal or loving?
Yeah, very supportive and caring.
Yeah.
But so I only met him maybe 2 years ago, and he was fine. I did a gig with him in the Crack Den, Mulligan and Haynes, that gig, and he was great. Did well, and then I heard he wasn't well. Yeah. And he died. So tragic though, really sad story, because he probably would be an established actor who's probably probably the best of that group who'd started at that time. Certainly from my perspective, I thought he was the best.
Well, it says he was joint third with like Alan Carr and stuff.
Yeah.
So Neil Delamar won that competition.
The RTE competition.
Wow.
Yeah.
Delamar had the energy of. Did you ever see those videos on nature documentaries where a little baby cuckoo pushes out the other little chicks in the nest? He had that vibe about him. He just had that little working. Like he was so determined, and he would go to the gigs and he'd have notes of what jokes he did the last time, what jokes were working, and he was marking off. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, it was like homework.
Homework. It was quite disturbing for someone like me who it doesn't work, and to see him working so hard. And he just had that. Like I'd call him. Like I don't really.
We're talking about Michael Downey, and you've always comes back to Neil. You can't let it go. The last time I was on, he was talking about it.
Was I?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I was not talking about Neil.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, you watched it back. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
No, I'm not sure. Yeah, you was.
We did talk.
No, we didn't. You probably brought him up.
We were talking about the Savage Eye. You were always getting really insecure, and you start giving out about comedians like Neil Delamere.
Never.
You did.
Never. Never.
And I'm just wondering that comedian. Did he die of natural causes?
I've no idea. I don't know how he died. I don't know.
Who?
I think he'd gone downhill recently. Michael Downey. Yeah, I don't know, but he
passed away in the hospital. So it's not clear.
I'd heard he wasn't well, so I'm not sure.
50, around 50, I think.
Yeah. It was terribly sad, and he probably would be an established name now if it wasn't for the accident, and it's really awful.
So he started, and soon after that accident, just cramped his.
He got back into comedy, but he walked with a cane, and his speech was a little slower, so that would have been harder to function on stage.
God, absolutely awful.
Yeah, it says he made like a return around 2010, so it was a good 8 years after it happened.
It's disgusting. It's just disgusting. It's just horrible. Very sorry for Michael Downey. Don't know what to say. Good luck to his family and everything.
Also, do you know who died two months ago? Alex Lyons. Do you remember Alex?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I mean, he had a tragic sort of life, really.
Comedian as well.
Yeah.
Did he start off with Ardle?
He did. Yeah, he founded the Comedy Cellar with the Ardle, Barry, Kevin.
That's right. I met Ardle a few nights ago. I have to say, I have a lot of affection. For Ardle. Very nice, charming, polite person. Thank you.
Yeah.
He is a very sort affable. Of balanced, affable person. For a comedian, a successful comedian.
Yeah.
He's nice. He doesn't have that edge. He doesn't have that insecurity.
No.
He doesn't that cuckoo pushing the other chicks out of the nest.
Yeah,
with this big nest, there's room for a lot of people in the nest.
Right, yeah.
But he is a very decent guy, yeah. But Alex would have started the comedy. He designed. Do you remember there used to be a backdrop in the Comedy Cellar? Pint. He designed that. So he passed away a few months ago as well.
Do we know how he died?
I think he'd had strokes and stuff. I don't know.
Is his name Alex Lyons?
Yeah.
There's an article from.
Yeah, we know that. We won't go there. We won't go there.
Why?
Don't just wait. No, we're being magnanimous. Yeah. But look, it was that. I mean,
I was only saying it as a kind of complimentary because it's funny the sentence he was saying.
Go on.
But it doesn't matter.
Who's it from? We'll cut it out if it's terrible. What is it? What is it, Jack?
No, it's just he was getting arrested when he called the guards a bacon, cabbage, and spud munching culture.
Who Alex did?
Yeah, he was very sharp.
Yeah. So Alex, was he a journalist as well, Alex?
No, he was working in advertising.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
he had worked in advertising, yeah.
Okay.
But he had a lot of health issues and that, yeah. But it's weird when you see comedian, some dies, and automatically comedians thinking they had a tough gig. We rarely think, when you see that, you always automatically you think, I wonder where,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough room.
So does it make you invincible? You're not afraid of dying?
I'm not afraid of dying.
Oh, Christ. Well, actually, Daniel sent me some... apparently there was a Gangland shooting.
Yes.
Shooting? Gangland?
Hello, welcome back. We'll be back right now. We're here with Pat McDonnell. Pat, Gangland shooting. What's going on in Dublin?
Well, Pat. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, yeah, we hadn't had one for a while.
We hadn't had one for a while. Daniel, Jack,
I thought they went out. But then, I remember skateboards were really popular in the late 70s and they went away and they came back and they never stopped.
That's right. They did go away, didn't they?
Yeah. And,
did you have? I had a
breakdancing.
wooden skateboard. I loved it.
Couldn't afford one.
Oh, Christ. Here we go.
Well, you were middle class.
What do you mean you couldn't afford one?
No, we didn't. No, I'm poor.
Pat, poor.
Poor.
It's funny.
Did you have roller skates though?
No. No, with a wheel.
With a wheel.
Did you have a car?
We had twigs.
My father had a car. Yeah, but we did. We were poor. But yeah.
Drogheda.
No, Drimna.
Dromiskin. What? Oh, Drimna. I'm from Dromiskin, but it was Drimna. Drimna, yeah. So, look, I don't like to see it come back. Yeah, I mean, it's awful.
Don't like to see what? Oh, well, Gangland shootings. I mean, apparently... It was reported.
Rifle.
It was reported as drug related. But what's so tragic? A 20-year-old kid. Jesus God.
So I was heavily involved in cocaine trading.
Cocaine trading.
Cocaine trading. Today on cocaine trading.
Hannah, that doesn't fucking... That's got
I know, but what I'm saying
is
that if you involve in dealing drugs, you're attracting a lot of violence.
Yeah, but a drug dealer should be able to go to work and not be worried about getting killed.
You're a kid, though.
I'm saying it's a tragic situation.
Yeah, it is.
It hasn't. He's chapter 2. He hasn't even started his life story.
What was that series? It was actually
the Kinahans.
Kin.
Oh, actually, and Aidan Gillen said he's going to do the podcast.
Yeah,
because I met him at the bicycle shop.
Again?
No, Hannah, not again.
Are you telling me that?
Does anybody want to talk?
I'm here and he's talking about getting a bigger guest.
I know, it's so insensitive. David is just losing a plot, I'm telling you.
I'm not losing the plot.
Yeah,
well,
none of us
it's
see
funny.
If as old.
You don't look old.
But do you see yourself as old?
No.
My mother, who is 88, she doesn't see herself as old. She looks at the other woman. She said, "Oh my God, I saw that woman. She had just like wrinkle on her cheek." And then I'm just like, I don't have those wrinkles.
And does she have a 28-year-old boyfriend?
He's got a limp as well.
Okay, look, why can't these people involved in drugs sort it out with a
why can't they just sort it out?
Guys,
let's sit down and talk.
Kill each other, completely.
No, but why can't they sort it out with a rough and tumble?
Hey, you with your gun.
Do you see the picture?
Have a natter.
Hey, look here, Buster. Why didn't you put that piece down?
Have a cappuccino. Sit down, relax. You have that street, I have this street, buddy.
Oh, God. Why
can't they work it out in Drimna?
Why can't they work it out in Drimna? Oh, dear me. Oh.
But they're probably watching these films. Like it's a vicious cycle.
They're watching those crazy films, those viddy hi-hos. Oh dear.
No, but it is Casino and all this.
No, it's an import. It's an import from they see what's going on in the rest of the world. Okay, people selling drugs in Ireland. You're not on the streets of Chicago. You're in Drimna. So just carry around, an old, fight with each other.
They had automatic guns. There was like
automatic rifle.
But you say, but it's a kind of in a psychological sense. In a psychological sense, it is the same as these crazes that happen. You've got skateboards, and then these fucking knives all around the place in London.
We couldn't afford one.
No, you couldn't afford a knife. No. It's terrible, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, can I tell you something that happened?
Okay.
This actually happened, and it sounds like a setup. It sounds like fucking Curb Your Enthusiasm. So I'm talking to a mate a few days ago, and he's standing about as far away as Pat is standing. So I'm outside, and behind Pat, there's a woman maybe 20 or 30 meters walking towards me, but I can't really see her because she's behind the person I'm talking to. Gotcha? Mm-hmm. So I'm telling this mate of mine about a time I was in London. I went for a massage in a place called Dean Street. For a massage, totally innocent.
No happy ending.
No. And then I go in, and then at the end of the massage, the masseuse looks at me, and I'm saying this to my mate.
What did he say?
She looks at me, the masseuse, at the end of the massage, and she makes that sign. She goes like that, right? And just as I did that, and I put a funny face, I went like that. Then the woman walked from behind the person I was talking to, and then she waved at me. So she saw me literally going like this to her, and then I didn't know her enough to say Jesus. And so she must have seen me do that and thought I was waving, thank God, or something. Fucking hell! But what a disaster!
Did the masseuse go like that to you?
Yeah.
But why?
She went.
You said no.
Yeah, I said no.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
that
was
really
it not?
I said no, but I went back the next day. Says you.
Was she English, or was she speaking English, or why wouldn't she ask you? Why would she do this?
I think she was your cousin.
David, that's really stupid.
I know.
I mean, I worry about you. I worry about you. That all self-editing made you really retarded a little bit.
What made you not take the wank?
Yeah, but why would
my sons are over there?
It wasn't a good massage.
She
said she was giving me a massage.
Okay, was she a foreigner, or was she speaking English?
I don't know where she was from.
Because
he was a foreigner. He was in England.
That's right.
Yeah, but you lying down, wouldn't she just say, "Sir, would you like a happy ending?" Did she come out from the other side and just did like this?
No, she went like this. I was lying on the thing.
Yeah, but
and then I said thanks very much, and then she went like that to me. She went, You want that?
Oh yeah, so you're implying that she was an English-speaking lady, yeah?
Well, who cares where she's from, Hannah?
Because maybe she didn't know how to say it in English.
Oh, that's the international thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, why does it matter whether
it does matter because
that's actually the international symbol for SOS.
Right.
Because I just think that
Sorry,
so what the Titanic broke?
Wait, what?
If you're massaging someone, you have a contact. Massage your hands, a contact with your body.
Yes.
So you massage and you want to continue.
Yes.
If you then you just ask and continue.
She did ask.
But she didn't. She just asked you, "Do you want?" And then she taken the hands from your body.
It's like a bonus.
Hannah.
It's like a bonus.
So you're sorry. I just want to get to the bottom of what Hannah is saying. So you're saying that because she took her hands off my body, she missed the chance of actually just continuing the energy. Because, I mean, Hannah, was that it?
Yeah. No, I just find it.
Huh? I told you that's what happened.
Okay.
So your question is, I don't know what it is, boy. You're like a mystic. I don't know what's going on.
No, because you lie on your back. Because if she bent over and said, "Do you want this?"
Yeah.
And what did you say? Did you just automatically go?
It's just weird.
Did you think about it?
But it happened. I said no. No, you're grand. Thank you. You're grand. No, my wangling friend.
You're grand.
Yeah, listen, go on.
Did you watch Baby Reindeer? Have you talked about that in the show?
No, I haven't talked about Baby Reindeer.
It's interesting, isn't it? Did you watch it?
Baby Reindeer, I will stalk you. Sorry. Baby Reindeer. Did you see Baby Reindeer?
No, I was just about to watch Netflix.
Yeah, it definitely had some very good moments in it. didn't it? Did you enjoy it?
When we were watching it, myself and my wife, we were thinking...
Your wife?
Yeah, we were thinking, like, she kept saying, why doesn't he go to the cops? You know, she was stalking him, and there was a lot of emails, and why didn't he go? And, they were implying, he didn't go to the cops because he was abused. And all that. No, he was a comedian. He was being stalked, and he just thought, there's an Edinburgh show in this. If I go to the police, I've no show. So it's just that's
do you think there was a little bit of that going on there?
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting as well. I also, as a narcissist and somebody who's desperate for, when I was younger, desperate for attention, I think if you'd never gone through something like that before, it might fulfill some need, like a little bit, and also that he did say at one point he was like he couldn't stand it, but it was the only way he could masturbate was to her picture. Like he would get off, even though she was. That's what he said in the bloody thing. So there was some needs being met.
Well, I thought the nicest bit of it.
But that's
when he shagged her in the end. I thought that was a great kind of full circle moment.
He didn't shag her in the end.
He did.
No, he didn't.
Did he not imagine that?
No, he imagined it.
Oh, was
Jack.
that an imagination?
Yes.
Oh.
Jesus, Jack.
Yeah. But, I mean, it used to be the comedians went to
Jack, you thought that was the good part of the thing.
Well, I was happy for her that she finally got her.
Oh, for God's sake, Jack. Jack, that's not the point of the whole thing at all, you lunatic.
If I was a family counsellor, I'd be very frustrated with this family. It's very
No, but
tough.
I think what was...
Communication isn't great, and yeah.
I think what was interesting, that it was quite nuanced, that it wasn't that, he was partly kind of contributing at the start anyway to this relationship, this odd relationship. I mean, if I'd met a girl like that, when she comes in, she's just babbling, I'd instantly get the frighteners. I'd get scared. But he seemed to... Well, did he encourage it, do you think? A bit.
He reckons he did a bit, yeah. But, I mean, it's like artists or novelists would go into situations like that to find a story. But it used to be comedians used to just go to Edinburgh and do the best material they've done all year, and that was enough. And you win the Perrier Award and do whatever. But now it has to be a themed story. You have to have something bad happen.
Well, it was always there was always a theme.
A bit, but going back to the 90s, it was generally just you did your character or you did your set. You did the basic.
Now it
set.
has to be a sort of life.
It has to be a life.
Yeah, I see. There was one guy doing it in Top Secret, and he had like the TV screen, and he was like he was trying to get involved with some television company, and it's a whole big story. It's not really stand-up comedy,
not just
really.
Jokes.
Yeah.
I mean, Des Bishop has done shows about his dad and then his mother, and everyone has said, me, Tommy Tiernan did it with him. Aidan his brother would want to watch his back. Because he might think there's a show in it if he. You know what I mean?
No, Tommy Tiernan.
Yeah. Des Bishop did a show about his dad who died and his mother who died.
Yes.
His brother would want to watch his back. Do you get that?
Oh, God, jeez.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's that sort of thing. I think Tommy made that joke on the show. But it's just this on Tommy Tiernan show. You were on it. Not in that episode. But yeah, anyway. But so, I mean, it's all themed. It's all like, just write funny jokes, will you?
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah, no.
So you reckon the whole, like, he got involved in the whole thing for the
no, I would imagine
maybe
I would imagine you're dead right. If he's a comedian worth of salt, you're 100% right. I wouldn't say that he was fully committed and he was happy to go through what he went through, but definitely there would be a percentage of his brain who's thinking, document everything, which he clearly fucking did because of some of those all the text, everything. So there was is the word Machiavellian, or was there something
touched at Machiavellian?
Yeah. And this idea also about the I actually thought though that there was parts of it that were very illuminating about the human condition, and one of them was that he kept going back to this guy who was, are we saying sexually assaulting or and this is part of this grooming process, but he was willingly. Well, what did you make of that, Pat? Or do we want to? Are we out of our element?
I saw a podcast, I think it's Marina Hyde and Richard Osman, they're talking about that. Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
And they talked about this, how Netflix weren't careful.
Oh, that's right.
Legally with this. They really didn't do the
because the guy
there was a guy who looked a bit like the guy
who looked like the
producer in the
who everyone knows in the TV and film industry.
Yeah.
But it definitely wasn't
Not
him. That's what they said.
No. And, you know, and obviously the woman wasn't really, you know, she's quite a bit like the woman in real life, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So they weren't careful like that. So it was a little awkward. I thought it was an excellent series and brilliant performances and just really entertaining and again, illuminating but I just couldn't but watch it thinking, he's writing a show. That's, you know, I mean, this is the way it's gone now.
That's so interesting. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Like he's living his life.
Just looking for
waiting for this.
So he
this
like
show.
disassociates
well,
himself
but also,
maybe so he's got like two personalities. One watches him, and the other just experience deeply, so he can then be authentic perform it in a real.
Better than me.
Yeah, very well articulated. But I think
Thank you.
I think also that the lawyers and all the people in the background probably didn't do their due diligence because I don't think they would have thought it was going to be as successful as it was.
Yeah, that's it.
But
can I just say something? It sort of reminds the story of ABBA and the blonde
Agneta
one,
was
Agneta.
stalked.
She was stalked, and then she got attached. That they had an affair.
That's
Stockholm
very good.
syndrome.
Yes. So it makes no sense. Why would this baby reindeer dude keep on going back and having these awful experiences? That sounds
because
make it sound nice. Awful traumatic things.
Yeah.
So for well-adjusted people, we look at this and so he's totally
well-adjusted people.
Well, I did do that. I did do that. So you're right. Yeah, people.
Well, he was saying that your one Martha was viewed him as everything he wanted to be, wasn't it? That's the main thing.
Say that again, Jack.
The one Martha, she viewed him as everything he wanted to be viewed as. She was saying he was smart, funny, talented, and so he's like every entertainer looking for validation and stuff like that. But I think he's got obviously something more with his. He latches on to abusers and stuff like that. Obviously, you know.
So part of him did like her at some level.
No, but it's true that the people being abused, they get attached to the abuser.
Yeah.
And they actually even loyal to them.
But that's why that's connected to why he liked that one Martha, because she was abusing him in a way as well, you know, and he was maybe, I don't know if he was abusing her really in any way too much, but like he wanted to come back. Well, that's the pattern, right? He always comes back, you know.
Yeah, how will he follow it up?
What?
Well, how will he follow it up though?
Yeah,
you know, the next series will it be?
Well, he won't follow that.
No.
I was I had such a big crush on Agneta.
Oh yeah,
Agneta. Which one? Anna. Which one
Agneta,
was the blonde one?
Yeah.
She's the
blonde one.
one.
And I couldn't believe how that
Bjorn got her. Bjorn. He looks like one of the Planet of the Apes. He was married to her.
Yeah.
What was she thinking?
Well, he's so talented, I guess.
Right.
But that was such a strange thing. He was her neighbor, or he moved close to her.
Yeah.
And
she was living like she was secluded. I think she was living somewhere in like a cottage in the wild forest or something. And then he lived nearby. Then he visited her or whatever. I saw this documentary. Don't exactly remember what happened. But she really had a relationship with him.
They had a song called SOS, didn't they?
Yeah.
That's like a new TikTok dance move for the
So Bambi Thug, you sent me this, Daniel.
Yeah.
What's this about Bambi Thug? What is Bambi Thug?
She's
They.
They are non-binary artist.
Jesus, Daniel.
Sorry, non-binary artist from Cork.
Jesus, Daniel, why are you coughing and spluttering?
Will you stop it, David? Something.
Give us some water. Tell me more about this, Daniel.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about it, but I think they were asked to boycott Eurovision, and they didn't, and yeah, so they're still participating. You know, it's like
Jesus.
But they had messages. Old Irish. You know the lines that you get in old Ireland on stones and that, and they said this someone's buried here. But it's like an old Irish alphabet. Ogham.
Yeah.
O-G-H.
Yeah. I've heard of it. Yeah.
And
you don't have to keep saying it quite aggressively.
Yeah,
like
but you
that.
didn't understand. You said
I did understand the very fucking.
You said, "What's that?"
Stop
and then I
coughing.
said what it was, and then you go, well, "You don't have to explain it." Anyway, there was they had script, and they were giving out saying Israeli shit or something, Palestinian state, and
Oh, that was written in Ohm script on
Ohm script, but the Eurovision spotted it. Someone in the Eurovision spotted it and had the Ohm removed.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh God.
So,
but here, what's the crack with this? England, Spain, France. France, Germany, Italy, Spain, and the UK, they automatically get through to the final.
Because they put all the money into it.
Yeah,
it's all to do with money.
Yeah.
And
do you want to keep going? I'll just go for a piss.
Oh, fucking hell. We've got... it'll be better. But we've got... we won it 7 times.
Yeah.
7 times.
Yeah.
And you were not automatically... should, if you win it 7 times, get in automatically then.
Yeah, but it was a long time ago. Like what, 3-4 decades ago?
It was
no,
it was
80s?
the 80s, wasn't it?
It was the 90s. We won most of them in the 90s.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
We won it in... Wait
Oh,
now.
just check it.
1970 or 71, and then 1980, and then 87, and then the rest of them, the other 4 were in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah. We won. We dominated it then. But like then when
the
all
last one was Johnny Logan? No.
The last one, I don't know. Was it Rock and Roll Kids? Maybe I can't remember. Maybe there was one after that. But we were then, because all of the Eastern European countries in. Thanks, you joined. And then suddenly there were too many countries, and you had to have a semi-final. So only like the big countries that put all the money in then automatically qualified.
And how come Australia is in Europe?
Because it's very big in Australia. It's shown in Australia. It's very big among the gay community in Australia.
Is it European song content?
Yeah, but Israel got into it as well, as did Turkey.
I know. Are they in Europe? Like.
Yeah, but I mean, I think I think you're getting a bit strict with the whole Eurovision thing,
but you said Eurovision is Eurovision.
Well, yeah, so
yeah, but like we're not really Europe, are we? In Ireland,
What do you mean?
Yeah,
I was sorry. Do we know our geography?
I was in Barcelona. We don't look fucking anything.
We're not.
Like
I keep saying that's not a European face. That's no way was I ever be French.
Como está?
Como está? How are you doing? I always
You're a Celtic god.
I'm a pure Celt.
We're not on the mainland. Like at least
mainland. You know what's mainland? Mainland is UK. It's England.
Yeah.
That's what they call mainland. Yes.
What?
Well, in the north, some of them people say, "Well, that's the mainland, of course."
I know. I've been working for Sky Sport, and they always saying that they going back to mainland.
Yeah, but if we're looking at the world in a global context, I would say that the European and Asian plates tend to be the mainland.
Yeah. But anyway, Australia got into it, but I don't think Australia can vote or something. Australians can't vote or something, so they'll never.
Is it like I don't know?
Yeah.
I find it ridiculous.
Mad rules. Anyway, but we qualified though, which is good.
Okay, I'm back.
So the final will have gone out by the time this podcast comes out.
Yeah,
so.
you're right as well.
But anyway,
the 90s were.
Can I just also talk
but
about?
Bambi is apparently in the 10 top. As like
favorites.
Favorites, yeah. So you can, put your money on them.
Hug.
The top 10.
Pork.
The top 10.
Yeah.
Eurovision. Can we have your points, please? And Norway song. Bam, boom, bram, broom. Frecka, brecka, brecka. Like there's such terrible songs, and they all sound the same. Who are the country that can't fucking write a song to save their arse?
There's quite a few, but I mean, Norway did have a lot of null points, way back.
And now, please welcome from Cyprus, Janine drinking. It's just like.
Yeah, but it's a big thing now. I mean, the size of the crowds and the whole over the top thing of the graphics. I saw the 1974 was on BBC recently. The one with ABBA one.
Yeah.
It was shite.
Oh, you mean the production?
The production. It was like a cheap.
Technology went
Hannah,
so
let
far.
our guest finish.
Sorry.
Yeah, but you don't let me finish. But anyway, it was really cheap. It was
Pat is so angry, but
like
he's powerless.
I haven't got over Savage Eye, but it was like shot in the back of a pub. It was so cheap. And then they used to get the guy out with the batons to do the orchestra, like Ronnie Hazelhurst.
But that was 74 though, Pat.
Yeah,
so that was probably
But the music was terrible.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, really bad.
Well, actually, I want to say, as regards the Savage Eye, I don't know if people are interested, but to me, Pat was like my go-to person to verify if something was funny or not. And if Pat liked it, then I thought, well, it's probably good or it's probably not good. But I did lean very heavily on Pat, like the first and second series, and I think it did piss off the director a few times, because I'd be talking to Pat, and Pat was like,
there was always tension.
There was always tension.
I did a short film with the two with the directors afterwards, and they were just waiting for trouble to kick off, and it never did.
Yeah.
It was just
they were so used to it.
And I was reasonable, I'm agreeable-ish, and it was
Yeah.
fine. And the thing worked out fine. But I mean, the Savage Eye. God,
it was a comedy as well. What you did?
It was a comedy, yeah. But
it was about the 1916.
Yeah, it was for the film board competition. Yeah, but anyway, it was agreeable. It was fine.
Why are you just rolling over it? Why don't you want to explain to people what it's about?
People can actually watch it online if they want on YouTube.
Yeah, okay, Pat.
Called?
Well, maybe, but they won't know what to look for, will they?
Yeah, it's called My Life for Ireland.
Yeah,
and it's online.
My Life for Ireland.
Yeah, collaboration with Damien and Kieran, and we got on fine.
Yeah.
But in the first two series, there was a lot of tension.
Why is this
and
funny?
You were putting we were getting everyone to a lot of conflict. He was stoking it all. You know, he was making like problems where there weren't any, and it was. But look, it was a brilliant series.
My Life for Ireland, and it was about the time when in 1916, and somebody wanted to take part in the.
Yes, in the rising, yeah.
But they weren't near the action.
They couldn't get there. Yeah, they couldn't get there. So they had a one-man rising in a little village. Yeah.
And they took over a post office.
Actually, a relation of my grandmother's. The inspiration came from a guy did cycle to the 1916 rising from Newry. He was a cousin of my grandmother's, but he got there. We got there, and I thought, what if the bike had broken down? But he made it, and he was he was a hero. And
what do you mean he was a hero?
Well, he got into the GPO. He cycled up.
Fucking hell, Pat!
And he was amazing. Yeah.
So he was so inspired by the whole thing. He went. Yeah. He cycled all the way down from Newry to Dublin.
He did. Yeah.
Do you know what happened? Was he arrested?
Yeah, he was arrested eventually, and then he got back, and then he fought in the War of Independence. He was jailed in England, went on hunger strike, and all this, and then. Yeah, so
Tough
amazing
dudes.
story.
Tough
Yeah,
dudes.
yeah. But the funny thing was,
Hannah.
Yeah, Patrick Rankin, and the funny thing was,
because I want to hear.
I was just
Pat's full story.
Patrick Rankin, yeah.
Yeah, and
Patrick Wankin.
Oh God. But my father's father fought in the trenches right throughout the British Army.
Sorry, can I just say, Pat, you're talking very quickly about things that are very huge.
Okay, I'm going to slow.
You know. What?
So
Sorry,
my grandfather.
Everyone else can follow what Pat said. You two can. So go on, keep going, Pat.
It's my grandfather fought for the British Army. He fought in the Irish Guards and right throughout the First World War. And a lot of my granduncles fought in the British Army. And my mother's family were kind of Republican, but there was a lot of conflict at home between my parents about that. One was Fine Gael, one was Fianna Fáil, always fighting about it. But the thing was, my mother would secretly say, and the real hero was on their side. He went to the GPO.
Oh, right.
His whatever relation, one of the Rankins, yeah.
Okay.
So they always used that. She always used that against him.
There were some tough people.
Your grandfather, though, was in the GPO, and he was only 16. Todd?
Yeah, Todd
fought right throughout.
He was a messenger during the Rising, so he's very young and a messenger, and then he fought in the War of Independence. He was one of Michael Collins's henchmen.
He was
during the Black and Tans.
Yeah,
coming in, and then once then he decided to join De Valera on the anti-treaty side, and yeah, he's got Yeah.
And Jack and Todd look very similar.
Yeah, he's really.
You do look very like him, and you do, yeah.
But he was he was a very smart kid, lots of ability intellectually. I read part of his book, and he was very enamored with education and people, and he was
Hitler and Stalin.
Yeah, well, there's a documentary about Todd called Nation Builder. Well, he was, but when you look back on history from our lens now, like when Hitler was first coming out, when Stalin was first coming out,
they were great.
These were they were. These were new ideas.
Stop it, guys.
Neville Chamberlain went over to meet Adolf Hitler.
You would have seen it if you had a fucking half a brain. You would have seen what was going on at the time. Sorry,
but
you would see it.
Fair play.
Well, you would see it, Pat. We would see it immediately.
Pat,
we could look the other way.
Yeah, but Pat, if the way those guys were carrying on, people think. Like, this shit has been going on for generations.
How come Ireland?
Oh, the fucking trains ran on time. Who gives a shit?
Not under your grandfather. He shut down all the lines, didn't he?
How come? It's not like black and white. How come Ireland welcome Nazis after the war?
I don't know. Ireland. You're saying everyone in Ireland thinks the same way.
There was a story of this Nazi who's you can actually. I want to go cycle to his grave in the Glencree German National Cemetery because there's an interesting story about him. So he came to Ireland in around 1940, looking for the Irish Republican Army to kind of stage a kind of rebellion against England at that or like a fight against England, but he found that the IRA were too poorly organized for the Germans, so but he really loved living in Ireland. He loved the Irish people, and I think he was quite handsome, so women were really attracted to him. So at the end of the World War II, he got found out, and he was ordered to be deported back to Germany. But he really wanted to stay in Ireland, loved Ireland, knew what was going to happen to him if he went back to Germany. So he done an appeal, and then he had an appeal done, and then the appeal wasn't found, so he was going to be deported to Germany. So he ended up committing suicide.
Jesus Christ!
But then I thought he was a Nazi, huh? Anyway, there was the funeral in Dean's Grange, and it was attended by like a lot of women. Irish women in 1946, and they were all wearing Nazi insignias and stuff like that. And as the coffin was lowered into the grave, they were going like Heil Hitler and like doing the Nazi.
Well, I just
throwing. Yeah, but David, you're just like the reason they did that is because you look at history like from now, you can't look at it there. They because they
didn't have the information.
The Germans sent guns to Ireland during the Rising. During World War I. So we were kind of allied with the Germans.
Well,
our allies, gallant allies in Europe.
We didn't have the information. We didn't know.
They did have the information.
They didn't know about.
Hitler was pretty out there, didn't he?
Yeah. And Pope knew about, it
was all in Mein Kampf if you read it, It's all there, black and white.
I can't handle it, I must say.
Because Pope, all the, people high up, they knew about concentration camps.
Anyway,
But Todd must have known. But Todd loved Hitler and Stalin. He liked both sides.
He went over to Russia. He learned
a lot about, he went to Russia and Did
he? Did he went to Russia?
Yeah, he was kind of doing recce for Bord Lamone. He wanted to set up Bord Lamone.
He was very impressed by the social housing.
Yeah.
So he was looking at that kind of thing. Because at this time, there was the ideas of new ways of governing people, and communism, socialism, really, people were interested. And I think Todd was actually a budding socialist in a lot of ways.
Well, what's interesting about what you were talking about, Jack, is that at 16... he was a runner, like for people in the GPO.
Yeah.
So, like most 16-year-olds, like they wouldn't be able to...
Bit different to a runner nowadays, say on a show, can I get you teas and coffees and bring the scripts?
No, what I mean to say is he must have had he must have had a very good interactive, or they must have seen...
good runner.
No, they must have seen
good legs on him.
Yeah.
They must have seen something in him that he had trust, and he had a sort of determination or something about him that at that age You know, because it's certainly as a 16-year-old.
During the war, you know, you don't just pick someone. If there is a runner bringing messages, you're allowed anybody to join.
No, you wouldn't trust them. You wouldn't trust anybody to do that because I assume you're in a very serious situation.
But as Pat said, a lot of his family went over to with the British Army. So the Easter
because
Rising,
they got paid.
The Easter Rising was very unpopular among Irish people. So Todd joining the Easter Rising is not something that. It's not something like every kid wanted to, you know, in World War II movies they all want to enlist and stuff like that. No one wanted to join the Easter Rising because we had this thing called Irish acquiescence, which means that the Irish people didn't really care about getting independence anymore because they were comfortable with living within the British Empire, because Dublin was the second city of the empire. The classic term of a West Brit or whatever like that. So
very interesting, huh?
So
that he was on the right side of history and he was proved correct, wasn't he?
Yeah,
I guess.
The British really fucked up, really. You know, they really messed up that whole time and post-colonial, where, you know, in the winding up of the empire, and that they really messed up and got and like
they
we're living with now in Israel
world.
And Palestine. They were very involved in that, you know, and they really messed up with how they carved that whole situation up, and in India, you know, and the conflict between India and Pakistan and everything like that, and Ireland, and they created havoc wherever they went. Churchill was very much heavily involved in all of this shit.
Is there any colonial or, you know, imperial situation where they didn't fuck up? There's no.
Well, the thing about history is that if you look at history, how humans have evolved and expanded influence over the world, it's all colonies. Like, colonies is how countries expand, because the most successful countries are the ones that have the most amount of international trade. That's how you make the most money.
And how did they start trading? They were trading humans.
But Thailand was never colonized.
But you start that through doing colonies. So if you look at the Carthaginians, you look at Hannibal and all that. That started as a colony. People from actually the Middle East colonized, like where the Levant.
But it wasn't quite a colony. Like, well, I know we're going way off, whatever. But it wasn't quite a colony. It wasn't like the Roman Empire. The Carthaginians had sort of other settlements, but they weren't. There was no central organization.
Who were the Carthaginians, by the way?
You know, the Phoenicians. The Phoenicians. They were traders in the Middle East. They lived near, not far from Israel.
How long are we talking?
Lebanon. From Lebanon.
What year?
Go back a couple of thousand years.
But it's in like it's
2,500
to say
years.
that, you know, because we're saying what the British did then affects now, you know. So, but if you go
there was a precedent
back through history, there is an idea that
the British don't have a precedent; they have a king.
John Cleary.
But you know, if you look at all the successful societies in history, they've all gone out and traded or tried to go out and look for trade, and inevitably in doing so, they've created colonies.
Very interesting. Can I please? May I say something, Hannah? May I say something?
Okay.
Except Poland.
May I say something very interesting? Because I heard about this on a podcast about the East India Company, and they were setting up trades, and they were protecting their interests, and then they got security, but then the security became a small army, and then suddenly that trading route sort of expanded into this sort of colony. Was that pretty?
I suppose the big empire now is America, but they don't call it an empire. They don't call we're all part of that empire in a way. And they don't call it, strictly speaking, an empire like in the
everything
old days.
that America does in terms of, getting involved, it always seems to fuck right up, doesn't it? Is there any? No, I mean, a question is there anything that they've intervened or done something where things have got better or flourished as a result of their intervention?
Vietnam's pretty okay now. I mean, I wouldn't say it's. I wouldn't say it was their.
It was they lost though. But that's a tough one. But did they ever? I don't know. Maybe overall, they're still doing quite well, America.
Well, for themselves.
But I would say
but
that
they definitely don't support democracy, as they say.
Can we give Ed about his grandfather a bit more?
What's the story, David?
The first time I met Dave, I said, your grandfather shut down the
Harcourt Street line,
which is reopened.
And then I saw this documentary that there were people picketing, say Todd Andrews, Hitler, and swastika.
Well, it's funny, you're saying I was talking about Delamere or Mar. You talked about Todd, probably the last thing, because you won't let that one go. What is it? What is it particularly?
Well, actually,
is it you? Is it you OCDing, or is it you just taking the piss?
You're not part of that. The Andrews political thing. Like your brother or your cousins and your father and uncle and all that. Like you're not part of that. But working on the Savage Eye, it did feel a lot like we were sort of department heads or something. You were the head honcho there, the minister, and we were the little minions, and we were doing your bidding and all this. And you were looking to me, and you were winding him up, and you were spinning plates.
But
and all.
Isn't it your perspective? Why would you let him to?
Well, it was happening. No, I think it was happening. There was no real. We were just all desperate. Well, I was certainly desperate just to, because I'd had so many failures before the Savage Eye that I was desperate just to get good material and as close to it being match fit. All these sketches. And so that's what I was on. That's what I was focused on.
And by the way, will you bring in Dermot McMurrough, the other writer from the Savage Eye? You had John on recently and me.
Yes,
and
Pat.
Dermot was very central to it all. Bring him on. He's a lovely guy. And,
okay, Pat. Yeah,
bring him on.
Okay, OCD
Todd.
face. So why is it? Sorry, could you explain then? What is it about the Harcourt Street line? Do you think it made a big difference? Or?
I don't know. I was just my father used to give it a bit because he worked for CE. He worked on the railways.
And what was his big thing with it?
He just thought it was he understood lines being closed down, they weren't viable, and it was competing with road and everything. I did my thesis in college for my MA on the railways and the closure of railways. I do understand it, but they felt that it was the fact that he closed the line down and then sold off the land to people, his cronies and whatever, that was the feeling. That was my father always said. Now, it might have been a conspiracy, but that they had to buy all that land back to reopen the line.
Well, the line was going, this is the Harcourt to Sandyford line.
Yeah,
there was also a line to Cork, wasn't there?
No.
Yeah, well,
there was
Maybe.
some line to Cork as well. It was on that Nation Builders document.
Could have been.
Yeah.
But they were burning effigies of Todd and everything,
Yeah, he was vicious. There was the beaching report in England, and when we had Andrews coming in, and then he went towards
what they say about him? That if they wanted something to be executed fast, they took Todd
in 1916. But no.
No,
no, they did. He was a no messing guy. He was just I'd say he was a difficult dad. I would say it would be hard on your grandfather, your father, to have a dad like that who's quite no nonsense, and I'd say he casts a shadow over your whole family.
Yes.
I'd say when you meet at Christmas, Todd still is there. In spirit.
My granny, David's mother, was telling me that my grandfather, David's dad, would have been more would have been Republican as well, but not as hard line at all as Todd. And so like Charlie Haughey was during the time when my grandfather was backbenched, he would have been running guns to the IRA or whatever. But apparently Todd was always trying to influence my granddad David to be more like supporting Charlie Haughey and.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Maybe not supporting Charlie Haughey, but to be more Republican.
More Republican, like Neil Blaney or one of those core Fianna Fáilers at the time who left. But I'd say it was difficult. I don't think your dad is quite as ruthless or as.
Yeah, well, I think the times changed. Like my granny was saying, she'd always have like discussions with Todd about it, and she's like, "Well, another car bomb blew up. There's another person dead, and she'd be like, "Are you happy about that?" and everything like that. So I think the whole kind of viewpoint of the Irish independence from the 20s to the 80s just changed where.
But what is interesting, Jack, as you're talking, what I do like hearing, though, is that your knowledge about your great-grandfather. But then what about your great-great-grandfather? It's funny, like, how many generations, there'll be no memory of any of us, really. It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, and yet we have so much to learn, I guess. I mean, because whoever Todd's father was and whoever that father, like the amount of people that have had to meet and live lives and strive and work so hard for us to exist, and it's and do we forget stuff, Pat, about
what did your great grandfather do? What did Todd's dad do? Was he
I don't know, Pat.
They weren't that well off or anything. It wasn't like
they lived in Summerhill.
Okay, so they weren't that well off or whatever. Yeah.
So, but I mean, I don't know. Do you know who your? How many generations do you know back?
I know a bit with some of the families. Yeah. A bit.
Yeah, I went to Glendalough to find with Sinead. I went to Glendalough to find graves of these were Morans. That was their second name. They're related. So I don't know, the 1800s or something. And there was 3 graves, and we had to go around finding them. And I was like 2 minutes into the thing, I was, oh, there they are.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to see like these graves of people who were related to you, but so kind of far back.
Yeah.
So far back, and who were they, and
they were like,
what were they about?
They were like, I think they were on Mary Coyle's side.
Yeah.
Todd's wife, your great grandmother.
Well, I'm just saying, the sound. It sounds different, Jack, for some reason. The sound
just now.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a different sound on this microphone. I don't know why. Now it's better. I don't know why.
It didn't change anything.
I don't know. It's weird, man.
Okay.
But now it's. I don't know. There's just some.
Maybe the connection there, but it's okay. You're just diverting.
Did you ever go back into your family? Did you ever look up your family tree?
All I'm saying is that all these people walking around, you have this sense of purpose, and you think your life is so important, and you own a house or whatever. Blah, 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 blah. A few generations, nothing,
Gone.
no memory, and your house will be still there, and there will be other people living in it. And who the fuck are you?
Do you own a house, Pat?
Yeah. Sorry. Anyone under 25.
Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah, David McWilliams had an article about like how a lot of working class areas in Dublin, like Stoneybatter, Cabra, and that, they're beyond working class. Working class people can't afford to live there anymore. I was talking to someone from Cabra today. Their kids won't afford a house in Cabra. It's gone middle class with the Lewis and everything. It's gone up in price. My wife grew up in Stoneybatter. It's so expensive to live there, and it's crazy. But I wouldn't like to be young now. Jeez.
I listen, but what happened? You're talking Republicans and the other parties, and they merging together now. Like
it's all a load of bollocks. My parents used to fight every day. They'd get up and you'd be hearing them fighting.
What's going on now?
And your father did this and you this, and then the Fine Gael did that, and now they're together. They're a one party. And it's nonsense.
Well, I was watching back from our previous episode. We were talking, touching on this a bit, and it's you were saying, and I was thinking it's very right. Well, yeah, we're a conservative country that we don't really want crazy ideologies. We just, it's all centre. There's no left or right really. All the left and right is on the fringes.
I mean, you get you a little nervous now with the the independents, and maybe they're going quite right wing and anti-immigrant, and they're kind of coalescing maybe. I mean, there's a little nervousness with that. The left will never work out here. We're not left.
But it's interesting. A conservative country. I wonder. It's funny, and this sounds like talking about a few generations, and there'll be no memory of us. But I was also listening to this podcast, and they were talking about Cromwell and what he did in Ireland, and it's funny listening to British people saying Drogheda or Drogheda or Drogheda. So, which is fine. Love the English now. But all I'm trying to say is he, really massacred, properly went into Drogheda and other towns, and basically said to the Irish, if you fuck with me, this is going to happen. But it had that effect for almost hundreds of years.
Debollocked.
What? Debollocked.
Yeah. The whole
and I wonder, this is what I mean.
We
about
did rise up again about 50 years later, with the Battle of the Boyne and that. There was a bit more of it, with King James and
King James.
We back King James, and then we're really bollocks again. Yeah.
What do you mean? What?
After Cromwell, we did rise up again. I mean, it really did do it for us. But then I grew up near Dundalk, so the Drogheda thing, not so bad.
What do you mean?
The massacre, we were fine with that,
Got over.
Yeah.
But do you think these things, the way we talk about, in a few generations, there'll be no memory of us. But do you think those things, even though we can't remember them, they have an effect on who we are as people? Because, like you say, we're conservative. We just want to keep our heads down and not create too much of a fuss. Or maybe is it just that most people in the whole world are like that, but there are a few people who are just really strong and courageous and will take risks and start rebellions and fucking.
It's really odd now.
Go on, what?
When you go to, like, say, you know, a nightclub now, and someone will play, like, the Wolf Tones will be on, and we go, ooh, ah, up the rat, and we're singing this, and like, that was the IRA. I mean, whatever you think.
Oh, you mean now? Now it's been.
It was like, it's sanitized, and people forget, and it's just a bit of crack, and it's just like that was quite serious.
Well, it's funny you can say that now in a club in London, up the IRA, and people will laugh, and you know. But I mean, maybe that's a good thing, though. It's a good thing.
I was there in London, and I was outside this Irish pub, and there was 2 Irish lads living and working in London. So living, paying tax, working, earning money in London from the Crown, you know, right? And they're shouting, ooh, ah, up the ra, outside Philomena's pub in Ireland. So I looked at them, I said, like, what? Like, because I was just like, this is pretty embarrassing for us as a people, that, like, we can't, like, let things go. And you're actually living in the country of your oppressor. Oh. And you're saying, ooh, ah, up the ra, but make sure my paycheck's on time, you know? And it's just fucking embarrassing.
You didn't confront them, did you?
Well, yeah, no, I just said use
Jesus.
our jokes, you know.
Weird note. But wasn't like
but
that
they weren't
before?
They weren't gonna do anything. But I just said use our joke because, like,
but weren't like that before? Like you said, 1916, Irish women were getting checks from British military men fighting, like, in the army. It's exactly the same.
If you are such a proud person, stay in your country. Fix your country, do what you can for your country. Instead of, you know,
they don't see the irony, though.
But what is so reductive about it all is that, you know, I love English culture, and the English love the Irish, and most people, you know, but this divide and conquer stuff, and we're supposed to be mortal enemies. It's quite boring, and you know, at some point you do fucking have to move on a bit. And I love English. I love people. Some of them are English, some of them are fucking French. Come on.
Do you know the way people are now wearing the keffiyeh as part of solidarity with Palestine?
Right.
You see people that wear the scarf. You know, this Palestinian scarf around the neck. You know, if East Belfast, say the Shankill Road, was attacked by anyone, like the Belgians or whatever, would you wear a sash in solidarity? Would you just, or do you think it'll ever be cool?
No.
Like the keffiyeh is?
Like
an orange sash.
The orange order. Yeah.
Would you?
Listen, when I was growing up in the 80s,
might be cool in 100 years, you know.
When I was growing up in the 80s, scarf was
like
really fashionable.
So cool.
Is it like this?
Scarf.
Just like that. Absolutely.
Yeah, we used to all wear it.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're Edwin Poots. Anyway,
and what would you know? Like you're talking about being conservative, and what do you think about those tents along the canal? Did you hear about it?
I did, of course. Yeah, I've seen it on the news. Yeah, I mean, I hope they find somewhere for them to go, and it's. I mean, I suppose it's really. It's one of those areas, you know. We're going to mire down in the Somme, and you get into trouble.
Well, sorry. Can I just say in reference to those, what do you call those, the Palestinian
keffiyehs, is it?
But aesthetically they look very nice. I mean, I'm not talking about what they represent. So I think there's a fashion statement as well.
Yeah, because you bought a couple of them scarves, and they look very similar.
Sorry.
I don't know.
Excuse me. I was given them as a present.
No.
Yes.
We presents or whatever. Okay.
And you got.
I don't know. Get over it. Who cares?
Matter.
You got it as a present. Whatever. But they are really nice looking scarves. But yeah, it would be good if there's a label like not wearing as a political statement. You know, wearing as a fashion statement.
No. And also seriously though, you know, this human experiment. I mean, the least I think our big moral or our big obligation, I think, is to give human beings a good childhood. For God's sake, can we just agree on that? What's happening in Palestine, what's happening in Israel, horrifying. I'm amazed that adults and grown-up people, mature people, sober people, they have to come up with some fucking way. This is unsustainable. Please, Jesus Christ. Our children, there's no, you know what I mean?
I'm just surprised that the world lets it happening. You know, that there's no efforts by a bigger... countries more influential to sit down. There are talks going on recently
because
it's the
Somme. It's the Somme. You get involved in that conflict, so you're never getting out. You know.
But you don't need to. You just need to negotiate. Like Northern Ireland, without negotiation, it wouldn't have happened.
Hey Netanyahu, what's the matter with you?
But people make comparison with Ireland and Palestine, but it's not really the same thing, is it? Like the scale of destruction and
No.
it's just not.
I think if you look at the amount of people who died as part of the struggles in the 20th century in Ireland, does it come to? Is it 8,000 or maybe less than 10,000 people died as part of those? And so within a few weeks, that's how many people died in Gaza.
There's like 30,000 or even more,
Yeah.
like 8,000 just kids or 15,000 just kids
the scale
died.
of it is hard to comprehend, But some of those people are living here and they're in the tents. People have come from
so
Gaza, Palestine.
I don't think very few.
Very few, but there are people here.
No.
Yeah.
I think there's because those people, they don't want to leave the country. You know why? Because they know if they leave Gaza, they would never be allowed to come back.
if they leave Ireland.
Gaza. The people who are in a war zone,
But
they don't
can't
really
leave.
want to leave
A
Gaza.
lot of them can't leave as well.
But they don't really want to leave, because if they leave, they
Well,
would
no
never go
one
back.
wants
They
to-
would
no one-
never be allowed
Yeah,
to.
but
That they lose the land.
No one wants to leave home, but a lot of them can't leave, because they can't go to Egypt. Egypt won't take them.
Yeah,
they
but
can't go to
but that's
Lebanon.
why you're saying
can't
they
go to
don't
Syria.
want to take them, because they could have take all of them,
They don't want to take
but
them.
they don't want to take them because then Israel wants to do it.
That's not the reason why
Yes.
they don't want to take them. That's not the reason.
How are
why.
Poland, by the way? How are they doing?
They okay, I think. I mean, there's a lot of.
We've forgotten Ukraine, though. I mean, there's so many things. You see loads of people online, and they're all, and then it was used to be Ukraine, and they've forgotten, and it's still going, still bombing all these like gas, whatever building, and their nuclear facilities and doing whatever and taking their land.
And the UK are sending billions apparently in arms to Ukraine.
But on social
US.
media, it's kind of gone, and gone. And people hold the Ukrainian flags, and they're gone now. But it's not changed.
It's Palestine. I don't
Because
know.
I think people actually don't really care, because people kind of talk about these things, and they don't actually think about the solution. They think about how do I look in the context of this thing, and they won't talk about things without. You do have to be emotional, but like if you're constantly saying people are dying, it's true, but it's the way of conflict, and you can't. If you're looking at these things, you have to.
I was in Vicar Street, and I was going like, I've been working in construction over in Palestine, it's great, like I'm on one building site, been on the same building site for 3 years, as soon as you build it, fucking the Israelis bomb it, you just start again, it's fucking, you'd be mad not to get a job in Palestine, what?
It's quite funny when people laugh.
Is this thing on? The idea of a construction site in Palestine.
You don't need to explain. We understand.
No, we understood that.
Fuck you, Pat.
Fuck you.
Fuck you, Pat.
This is all from you giving out about Todd.
Oh, you get me back. He's never forgiven me.
Yeah. How long have we been broadcasting?
Long time.
Jack, Daniel.
Yeah, nearly hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Jeez, it feels long. Oh, no, it doesn't
Well,
feel
you
long.
have to cut out a lot of stuff.
Oh, we do have to cut out a lot.
Stuff.
It's only about 36 minutes. Of
Don't get me cancelled.
broadcastable thing.
No, I'm very careful about that stuff. Do you want to just do a conspiracy corner quickly, Jack?
Okay, we can do it very quick.
Go on.
But I
It's
saw
music. Get the music going.
Okay.
Get your shit together.
Jack, you're very lazy. Sorry. Shit. I fucked up.
Huh?
No, sorry, Jack.
I don't mind.
Stop.
You don't mind. I mind.
I mind. as well.
Do you ever watch that To Catch a Predator show with Chris Hansen?
No.
And the guys who they go around looking for pedophiles and stuff.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Well, there's a conspiracy theory on the internet. Well, the most famous one is Chris Hansen in America, but the conspiracy theory is that he himself is actually a pedophile, and he's just
You mean those vigilantes? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying it now, and I just don't
be.
really want to finish my sentence.
I know what you mean. Do you know, no, there can be something very tired about conspiracies.
I'm done with it now.
Yeah. But anyway, certainly predators or people who are in that, they certainly don't present themselves as when people like that are caught. I couldn't believe it. He was such a nice guy. Yeah, that's how people present themselves.
Well, Kevin Spacey, that is a new documentary about Kevin Spacey.
Go on.
And he's got that charm, but then you see sometimes the mask dropping.
But I saw something. He did an interview with somebody, and it wasn't. He was found not guilty.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean he wasn't. Like, loads of people are on this documentary saying that he did.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
Did anyone ever combine a vape and a pen?
Yeah, they're called vape pens, mate.
Are they? I didn't know.
I don't know if they're called.
Just had that idea.
No, they a lighter, a pen, a dildo, and a fucking thing, mate.
It all goes into your throat. Huh?
Anything about Nicolas Cage? What's his latest film like? Have you seen it, Jack? Daniel?
I saw.
Sorry.
The
Arcadian.
Yeah, have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
What?
No, I know. I'm slacking off on the Nicolas Cage lore, but you remember Face Off?
Yeah.
Well, apparently they're going to make a second one, like a sequel to it, and then John Travolta and Nicolas Cage are going to come back for it, like, apparently.
Really?
Yeah, apparently, yeah. Even though it wouldn't technically make sense to the story.
It's funny, as you're talking, as you put John Travolta, you know these Hollywood stars, and they dye their hair but really dark black and really Yeah. I saw what's that guy who he hangs out with Putin? What's his name? Sorry, his name just.
Oh, it's Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal. Yeah. Jesus Christ! I've never seen a fucking mad hair dye. Like he has this widow's peak, but it's not like it's just painted on. Mad looking situation. Thank you. Okay, sorry. So Face Off 2.
Yes.
Yeah, go on, Jack.
What
were we going to say? You going to say something?
Oh no, I was just saying about Steven Seagal. He used to pay Anderson Silva. You remember he used to pay him to hang around with him and like pretend to give him tips on fighting. He'd be like, "Cut the cameras off, because I'm about to tell Anderson some stuff that could kill a man." Oh.
Okay, well look, it's always great to have you, Pat.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean.
We should ask Pat, do you play somewhere?
Yeah, he's playing everywhere.
Do you have a tour?
No, I don't have a tour. I never have a tour.
He has a tour. He does a tour with Joe Rooney.
Oh.
I don't. I haven't done that in years. Don't say that.
Well, you did
we
further.
did a podcast, but I don't know when that's coming out.
Further Ted.
We did a Talking Ted podcast before, but I don't know what's happened to it.
But okay, look, it's hard to talk authentically to Pat or anyone. You know, you're so knowledgeable. You're very, very funny. You're really interesting. The Savage Eye would nowhere near as been.
I have an idea. What about writing some new comedy? You know?
Okay.
We saw.
100%. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the thing I used to say about Pat. He's got 40 ways of saying yes, but none of them mean yes.
That's a good observation. You're right, though. People have all said that.
Also, people pleaser.
People pleaser-ish, In
a social situation.
I am.
You're probably behind that. You're just saying like "fuck you."
He's not a people pleaser.
Yeah, but a lot of people are.
He's a vicious little bastard.
But like
no doubt about that.
By the way, since we talked last, I know we were talking about RT, but the BBC have commissioned 41% less comedy this year.
Yeah,
and Netflix are pulling out a lot of comedy, and a lot of comedy's like it literally is only on Instagram and TikTok now. I mean, there's not, it's dying off on the mainstream, on television, on terrestrial television.
Because it's too challenging,
expensive. People aren't watching it.
Well, I think the sitcom, the whole sitcom thing is pretty tired, and people aren't.
Look, yeah, but then along comes something that revives it, and then people start trying to do it in the style of that thing, which is a disaster. But if you look at, you see stories will never go out of style. A good story won't.
I challenge you to write funny movie.
Well,
if you go to any cafe anywhere, you're going to see people going, and then Joanne said this, and people laughing their heads off. So people are telling stories all the fucking time. It's just trying to engage. I
remember, I ain't bothered.
Oh yeah,
that was so funny.
But the sketch show has kind of died off. The sketch show used to be the day of a lot of comedy. You know, so you always had Catherine Tate, the Fast Show, you had Little Britain, Monty Python, Not the 9 O'Clock News, and all of these. The sketch show was the mainstay, and we had loads in Ireland. Like we did one, and you know there was the Après Match and Republic Italy and all of that, and it's kind of disappeared
because you can't.
The odd one.
No, you can, but it's just equality. Quality stuff is that once it's good, once it's funny, isn't it?
It's a funny thing though. You can watch something on Instagram, and if you saw it, you become if you watch that on television, you'd be going, "What the fuck?"
Do you think so?
Yeah, there is a lot of that.
Do you think
people have transferred their stuff to television, and people don't watch it then?
Right.
So what's really good? You look at the television.
It's McDonald's kind of, you know, when you're going on social media, you're not expecting. So if you see something that's a bit funny, you're like, oh yeah. When you're watching the telly, you're expecting a
and maybe
proper
because
TV
I paid
show.
for this. This better be good. The quality. It's almost the shittier it is, the better. But you know, but you know, the days of like writing something about set in the 18th century, and we get this budget from RTE to make it look authentic, and that's gone. Like you're not going to do, like. You know,
well, that's a very depressing note to end the podcast.
No, but
that's typical Pat McDonnell.
We tried to write.
What's your favorite chicken fillet roll? You know, that's the kind of shit you see.
But what about comedy?
He tried to make a movie. You know, The Bastards. What was that?
Pour Me in the Bastards. Oh no,
but
that was only a 10-minute thing.
Yeah, but we did. You know, you did try to get funding. I
wasn't.
And it
well, you don't just write a script.
Yeah,
I was working with Damien and all that. Is all. We don't have good chemistry. I don't think.
Well, you don't need to do it with Damien.
or Kieran.
Just start dating someone else.
Stop shagging if
artistically.
I remember maybe I'll get Martin McDonough to direct the next thing, but he's only interested in doing his own thing.
Yeah, I know, but you can, get some.
I can do that to his nipples.
Come
on, Martin.
Dust.
It's this or that.
Get some, genius dust of Martin McDonough.
Yes. No, he keeps his own dust. He's very possessive of his genius dust.
Yeah, it's expensive to make a film, and I'm not being negative, but it is hard.
Netflix, they have so much money. All those big Canal Plus, Netflix, Amazon.
Did you see Jerry Seinfeld's film?
No.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Pat.
What was it called?
It was so bad. No, but it was so like
so awful.
It was so kind of just like, you know,
Frosted.
it was.
When you watch his stand-up, do you find it funny?
It was funny.
You know, I love Seinfeld the show. I really love that.
At the
time, a lot of that was Larry David, but you know, I mean, some of the stand-up's quite good.
It was a great show, and it was very revolutionary at the time. Revolutionary.
It's still funny.
Yeah, but and definitely when I heard Seinfeld in the late 80s, it was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But that Unfrosted, it's just like
Jesus.
It's funny, isn't it? There's something very. It's almost like you know the way when you walk naturally, you're not looking where you put your left foot, right, and then if you right out of template, put your left foot there, right. That's what it looked like. It's like ouch, you know, and you can imagine they were probably patting themselves on the back. That's
great, Jerry. Lovely, got it. Yeah.
What was it?
That's going in the movie, guys.
What's this story about?
Oh, it's the invention of the pop. That's all you need to know. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like kids. It's kind of like a kids movie, but kids wouldn't care about the 1960s. It's got all these 60s references that kids wouldn't get, and adults wouldn't find it funny. It's not funny enough. It's kind of.
And now,
like
what is it? Has it been horribly reviewed?
Yeah.
Sorry, Pat. Any good film recommendations?
What was it?
That was that.
It was a terrible noise.
Sorry. What recommendations? Any film recommendations?
I haven't watched really anything. I can't remember. No.
Yeah. Fair enough.
No, nothing. No.
Yeah. Well, Pat, you're very interesting, very funny, very charming,
Thanks.
and quite vicious at times.
Have Dermot McMurrow on, will you?
And quite obsessive, and you just can't let stuff go. But it's always a pleasure having you on. I think yours was one of the most viewed shows we've had because people are fascinated by you. They just like looking at your head. Your head is a marvel. You don't know where. It's like the Mount Everest of heads. You just your eyes start and then take a few days to get all the way down to the eyes and the. Where do we? Like Radar picks that head up and thinks, "What the fuck is that?"
Oh, your head is not much smaller than
Look at your forehead. It's like Saturn and Jupiter here.
It's like Saturn.
Yeah, you can land a fucking helicopter on that.
Jack, you're making fun of your own blood, you little bastard.
Like, it is. Like, you know, like, I'm not sure, like, where did you get all
Yeah, well, you fucking rolled me, love. Hey, get over here.
You put a spit shine on your forehead, you have to dip the headlights now.
Yeah. What you start off your gig?
My act, I did, yeah.
What do you
because
say?
I did a gig when early on, and I just got heck. Oh, we're going heading you. We're heading you now. So I said, let's turn it on him.
Yeah.
And I got a laugh, and then I still failed.
So what do you say? You feel that you have to address the fact that your head is quite big.
And people relax.
Because it's funny, because you're right, because if people are looking at you and you're doing comment, look at the size of his head.
Yeah.
They're thinking, so you have to.
I've quite small shoulders as well. So I've got a big head and little shoulders, so it looks much bigger than... Yeah,
so
it's actually really big. We had... Cleary has a big head. John Cleary.
And he's got no neck or something.
Yeah, but we had it measured. We had our heads measured in RTE when we were doing the Tommy Tiernan show to get caps and stuff fitted.
Why did you do the Tommy Tiernan show? That was quite treacherous. Traitors.
Yeah, it was good.
Traitors.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah.
You started. Yeah.
Got paid.
Yeah. Okay.
But
but it wasn't as funny.
Tommy's head. I don't know if I should be revealing this. It's a private thing. But anyway, Tommy's head is 23 centimeters in circumference. John's head 24 inches in circumference. My head 25 inches in circumference.
Right.
It is in the top 0.1%. 1 in 1,000 people have had this size.
Yeah.
So you are special.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know,
my kids don't have a big head. My parents didn't have.
I know
big
you're
heads.
you're like the elephant man of comedy. So go on.
I think I have a syndrome, and I think there's people like me. I see people. I often get people. Oh, someone looks like you, and they've got a head like me.
You mean?
And I think we're something. There's something going on.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like
there's people look like you. I remember a guy tried to sell us a car, and we were thinking, he's like McSavage.
Hey, come here, go on. So what do you say? What are the good lines that you say? Because there's some classics.
Oh, I say I couldn't join the IRA because I couldn't put a balaclava on the British Army. Go, there's Patrick.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Patrick.
And I couldn't have played a scientist in Oppenheimer. I don't look like an intellectual. You know, people would be saying, look what the radiation did.
Right.
I could have played the bomb.
He's an atomic bomb head. Did you get it, Jack? His head looks like a nuclear bomb.
But you're quite tall, so you can you get away with it.
Yeah. God, let's see. Yeah, marvel at Pat's head. That's you. Okay, Pat. Well, we want you back. I want you back on soon, please. Thank you so much for coming. Super appreciativeness.
Oh,
Thank you,
what
Hannah.
we have to say, if you like, subscribe to our show.
Yeah.
Like, comment.
Oh, and also, Pat, you have to start your fucking Instagram.
I'm gonna do Instagram. You'll have to show me how to do it.
Have you got an Instagram page?
No, and I'm gonna set it up.
You don't have an Instagram page?
Yeah. No. I check it, but
I don't mean to call you, but you are a bit of a daft bastard.
I know.
I
you're
actually
dead
think
without
you should just start write a movie.
Okay,
Maybe get me an Instagram first,
can I just say, what should Pat McDonnell's Instagram be? Sorry, Jack.
Maybe it could be a competition for your
viewers.
Big head one.
No, because people. No, it has to be Pat McDonnell.
Okay.
No,
Doesn't
it's easy. Pat McDonnell.
Yeah.
Pat.
It could be. There's Pat McDonnell Paints.
Yeah, but Pat McDonnell comedian.
No, Pat McDonnell.
Well,
unless it's taken.
And then there's some American politician, Patrick McDonnell, and all that.
Have you looked at? Have you?
Patrick.
Pat
Paddy.
McDonnell TD.
Yeah,
like TD and stuff.
Get someone to get right. Yeah, if anyone have, but I will. I'll come back.
Well, I don't think you should fuck around with a title because it should just
simple.
be Pat McDonnell comedian or something. You know,
be a fake politician on Instagram.
Owen McLove.
TD.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks very much, Dave.
Pat McDonnell Instagram. We don't know what it is
Coming
yet.
up.
Eurovision.
Oh.
Who's that?
Eurovision.
Is that Bambi?
No,
that's not.
It's the worst Irish Eurovision.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Dan.
Love will capture you whole with your body and soul.